When you're scrolling through a sea of propane grills, the biggest question that keeps popping up is whether you're actually getting something that will serve your everyday cooking habits or just another piece of metal that sits pretty but never really delivers. I get it. You're probably weighing the fear of overpaying for a grill that looks great on paper against the risk of ending up with a cheap-looking setup that can't keep a steak hot enough for a proper sear. This isn't a hype-driven unboxing, it's a down-to-earth look at whether the Broil King Barron's 440 Pro IR lives up to the price tag, the everyday use, and the little compromises that most product pages gloss over. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about what a propane grill in this class actually tries to solve. Most backyard cooks want a reliable heat source that can swing from high-intensity searing to low and slow indirect cooking without constantly fiddling with knobs. They also want enough cooking surface for a family-sized dinner but not so massive that it becomes a storage nightmare. The Barron's 440 Pro IR is positioned as a big but manageable unit with 4 stainless steel dual-tube burners and a main burner that pushes roughly 40,000 BTU. That sounds impressive, but the real question is how that translates when you're actually firing it up for a Saturday barbecue. If you're the type of cook who likes to start with a hot sear on a ribeye, then move the steak over to a cooler zone for finishing, the dual-tube design is worth noting. Each burner has its own set of tubes, which means the heat spreads more evenly across the cooking grates compared to a single-tube configuration. In practice, I found the high heat zone reaches a solid 600-650 F after about 10 minutes, enough to get a nice crust on a steak without the grill smoking itself out. The cooler side, achieved simply by turning off 1 or 2 burners, drops to a gentle 250-300 F, perfect for a chicken that needs to cook through without burning the skin. The ability to create these 2 zones without adding extra accessories is a practical strength that saves both time and space. Speaking of space, the barrel-style grill offers what the manufacturer calls ample cooking area. In real life, that translates to roughly 500 skin of primary cooking surface, which comfortably fits 2 12-inch burgers, a slab of ribs, and a tray of veggies at the same time. If you regularly feed a family of 4 to 6, this size hits the sweet spot, big enough for a decent spread but still narrow enough to fit in a typical patio nook. On the flip side, if you live in a tight balcony apartment or only plan to grill for 1 or 2 people, that same surface can feel like overkill. You'll end up spending more on propane and cleaning time than you'd save on a smaller unit. Now, let's get into the practical downsides that many reviewers overlook. The first is weight. With a stainless steel body and the 4-tube burner array, the grill tips the scales at about 150 pounds. That's sturdy, yes, but it also means it's not a movia twinunito kind of thing. If you ever need to store it for the winter or rearrange your deck, you'll likely need a dolly or at least a strong pair of hands. The second issue is the reliance on a standard 20 pounds propane tank. While most homeowners keep a tank on hand, the larger burner output does guzzle fuel a bit faster than a smaller 30,000 BTU model. In my tests, a full tank lasted roughly 3 to 4 hours of continuous cooking at medium-high heat, which is fine for a weekend cookout but could become an annoyance if you're planning a marathon grilling session. What about the infrared IR component that the Pro IR badge hints at? The grill incorporates an IR heat diffuser under the cooking grates, which essentially reflects heat back onto the food. The practical benefit is a more consistent temperature across the grill surface, reducing hotspots that can cause uneven cooking. In real-world use, this meant my vegetable kebabs didn't get the dreaded char burn patches that sometimes happen on direct-fire grills. However, the IR system also adds a layer of cleaning complexity. Because the diffuser sits just below the grates, any grease that drips down can caramelize and stick, requiring a bit more scrubbing after a greasy cookout. Who should consider buying the Broil King Barron's 440 Pro IR? If you're a backyard enthusiast who enjoys experimenting with both high-heat searing and low and slow indirect cooking, the dual-tube burners and IR heat management give you a versatile platform without needing extra accessories. It's also a solid pick if you regularly entertain larger groups and need the extra surface area to keep everything moving. The stainless steel construction means it will hold up against the elements, so you won't be swapping it out after a couple of rainy seasons. Who should skip it? If you're after a portable grill for tailgating, camping, or a tiny balcony, the weight and footprint make this a less than ideal candidate. Likewise, if you're on a tight budget and only need a grill for occasional burgers, the higher